They used to say, words couldn't hurt me. Videos, just my name, they getting thirsty. Go ahead and put him in a hearse seat. It's getting murky, this time I deserve this. I'm ready for whatever war said he been a matador. Scared for the things I'm dreaming for. I'm eating caviar.
All rise. The Honorable Judge Get To It is presiding. You now may all be seated. Let's start the show. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube jury, forget what you've seen on television and in the movies. I'll have no physical witnesses. Nobody's going to break down on the stand and give you a confession. You're going to be presented simple fact that Durk Banks has been defamed and charged with snitching. You will hear explanations for why he is a snitch. Fine. You go do what you do. But over here, we do the facts. And I'm going to go through layer upon layer of truth until you determine for yourselves which version sounds most truthful. There's certain points that I must prove to you. Point number one is Durk was never and has never been a snitch. Point number two, Durk has what we call in the ghetto, commonly referred to as haters and clout chasers. Point number three, blogs discovered that he had something people ain't heard of and tried to explain it while not doing their research. Point number four, they panicked for views and for news. Most of us would. I'll lay on my case and you'll see and say that Lil Durk is not a snitch. Because what's going to happen here is pure fact. My client has been charged with no proof, zero proof. And that's exactly what you guys will be saying after we're done here. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube jury, he already said it. He already said it. He has no witnesses. And that's exactly how we're going to prove our case. He brought up these fancy points. All right. The point of the matter is that we have actual witnesses. No, they won't be here in the physical, but we have exactly what we need. We have lyrics. We have social media posts. And no, we're not going to talk about bloggers and everything like that and YouTube personalities. We're not going to do all of that. We will bring them in to make our case. But, ladies and gentlemen, the simple fact of the matter is that man is going to be proven to be a snitch without reasonable doubt. I don't have some statement written down like my competitor. That's what I'm going to call him. Because he's not counsel. He's not even a real lawyer. Hell, I'm not even a real lawyer. This isn't even a real thing. But I'm going to prove it to you. And by the time this is done, everybody across YouTube will have to confess that Durk Banks, a.k.a. Lil Durk, is a snitch. Ready up. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring in evidence one right here, or A, whichever you choose. I want to bring in this article because isn't it amazing how nobody has any video proof? You can't cite a single source for where this was. It says something as absurd as the office has declined to indict Durk Banks, aka Lil Durk, for the February 5th, 2019 incident because insufficient evidence existed to prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt at trial. If co-defendant Davon Bryant, aka King Von, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for this incident. As stated in the motion declining to indict Mr. Banks, the Atlanta Police Department had evidence to establish probable cause to arrest him. That standard of proof, however, is considerably lower than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard of proof as required at trial, which the evidence in this case does not meet. Now, unless I'm kidding myself, It says beyond a reasonable doubt, standard of proof required at trial. Did a 5-year-old write this? Are we this stupid? That article is fake. And when you search on the internet, you cannot find it. I'd like to have this evidence examined at great lengths by every single one of you individuals who call yourselves investigators. All of you to look up that article. It's not true. So what does this mean? Can we admit haters and clout chasers? As I told you before, there's haters and clout chasers. There are people who hate Lil Durk. And I get it. He's flashy. He got the money. He got the millions. He's one of the biggest rap artists in the world. A lot of so-called rappers want to work with him, but they can't because they can't afford his feature prices. He once bragged at getting over $100,000 a show. And I know a bunch of you broke-ass people can't even fathom that. You ain't made $100,000 in 4 years. If we're going to try to destroy Lil Durk Banks, which you all are trying to do, I need you guys to be real careful in how you operate. You used a fake article. Here's another point. Have you guys looked up prosecutorial discretion just for this week and seen how many times it's been used? Are you guys this simple-minded to think that it only happens for Lil Durk? If we look, it has been used throughout this week. So this is a very common thing. Just because you guys have never seen it before doesn't mean it hasn't existed. Now, what I'm going to do is something I shouldn't do, but I'm going to have to for this. I want you to question something. Question the motives. Because like I told you guys in my point 3, YouTube views and news. The YouTube cycle has been basically dying off since PNB Rock died. Rest in peace to that man. But there was nothing going on. Look at everybody's views. They're down. They have nothing to talk about unless it's bullshit. And now we have bullshit to be thrown across Lil Durk's name. You all looked at the article, poorly written by a 5-year-old. You can't find it anywhere. In the ghetto, we have haters and clout chasers. But let's be fair and honest. A lot of people have monetized the spreading of lies and BS around everybody. So no, Lil Durk didn't tell. Basically, prosecutorial discretion was at hand. And let's tell the truth. Let's tell the truth here. Y'all wanted to point to this woman.
Expensive nights, yeah, no hype. Yeah, I live this kind of life. Different sights, different price. I go from car to motorbike. I'm hard to kill and hard to fight. Never right, I'm overbite. They love you when you're cold and tight. Overdose, they so contrite. Never bought in when they all green. I be looking like the bartender.
Another piece of evidence. You ever heard Nicole Moore speak? I have. Did you hear the TSA agent speak? I have. Listen.
You take a picture of my badge. You take a picture of my badge. You take a picture of my badge.
He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to take. He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to take. He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to take.
You take a picture of my badge.
He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to
And my competitor or opposing counsel would like to say something like, oh, well, we have lyrics. We don't need lyrics. Lyrics can be taken for anything. And if you want to be honest, when you hear Lil Durk rap, he knows somebody for everything. They pointed to a picture of Fonnie Willis and Nicole, right? Nicole Moore, pardon me. But what they don't tell you is this simple thing that if she were doing anything wrong, she would be disbarred and fired. Now, you're willing to tell me that Fonnie Willis, Nicole Moore, who was not the DA at the time that this man was charged, Paul Howard was, go look it up, that she would risk her entire career just to help Lil Durk out? Do y'all realize how stupid that sounds? She already has four RICOs already. She would risk throwing away all of that just for Lil Durk? Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the person to say this. You can't be that dumb. You can't be that naive. You can't be that stupid that this woman, Fonnie Willis, would risk getting disbarred after telling rappers that she will RICO them and indict them and arrest them for basically breaking the law in her eyes. She would be thrown off the case anyways if they had conflict of interest. We do realize this, right? This is the courts. You do realize Fonnie Willis was thrown off a case because she had donated to somebody who was opposing Donald Trump's, one of his aides, to testify. He literally cannot come to court because she donated. Are you telling me that Nicole and Fonnie were rubbing elbows, giving high fives, and came up with this collusion of dismissing Lil Durk? The fact of the matter is this. When we look at it, Durk's lawyer even said out of his own mouth, not some made-up document, that they're trying to get the record expunged, which means what exactly? That it's going to be public knowledge. And if it's public knowledge, statements and everything like that will come out. So why would Lil Durk risk looking like a snitch if publicly getting that stuff expunged would expose him to every single thing that either he said or didn't say? Wouldn't it be more likely that he would like to have it sealed? But he has to have it expunged because Lil Durk wants to go overseas and perform. And there's going to be some countries that won't allow him, that is big dollars over there. So why getting that expunged? Because they have a question within the last 3 years or 5 years, have you been indicted or brought up on charges and all this stuff? And remember, he was never indicted. I think you people missed that point. All you conspiracy theories. Y'all missed the point. He was never indicted. Nobody has been indicted. I'm going to say this last thing. The fact of the matter is hatred. You can't be Durk. You want to be like Durk. You want to be OTF, one of the flyest labels in the game. And y'all can't cut it. A lot of you guys get upset that he hasn't been harmed, he hasn't been touched. Could it just be simply that Durk had the money and you don't? Is that possible? But no, you guys can do that. But, like I said, he's not a snitch. There is no proof. There's no documents. All it is speculation and theory from people who already hate Lil Durk. Admit it. I rest my case. Let's knock out some things. Nobody hates Durk. We don't even know this dude. We don't never see him unless it's at a show. So, there you go. The Chicago Jay-Z. Yeah, right. The only Chicago Jay-Z is Kanye West. Free Yeezy. Let's do it this way. Lil Durk has a song called Red Man where he openly confesses to telling on people. King Von put it in his manifesto why he told. And he basically is pointing out Lil Durk snitched. Then you pointed out, hey, prosecutorial discretion has been used this week. We've never seen it used for a rapper. So don't try me with that BS. We know that Fonnie Willis and Nicole Moore concocted this whole thing, and that Nicole Moore was that woman that was sitting in there getting on King Von. It was a setup and a whole play. Why would King Von be woken up from track and told to go do something to Quando Rondo? And let's be honest, King Von is too smart. He done beat murder charges before. It's like they all want to come after him now that he's dead. I mean, did King Von shoot down the airplane that took down Amelia Earhart? The missing gold across the country, did King Von have something to do with all of that? Did King Von kill Osama bin Laden? You might as well give it all to King Von. Everybody's blaming King Von for murders. So why wouldn't Lil Durk? Everybody else in Chicago was doing it. See, you guys, he likes to mess up the facts. And the fact of the matter is this peon, this rat, this snitch, told on King Von. And yeah, I seen Bezu got his charges dropped, but how do we know Bezu and Durk didn't get together and talk about it? Huh? How do we know that Bezu and Durk didn't just basically put the blame on King Von? And you say we don't have the facts of the matter. The fact of the matter is, why would Durk delete his Instagram one day before the charges got dropped? That's too suspicious. It's too sticky. Durk is a snake. We heard rumors that was actually some people who love King Von that ran up in his crib. We heard also that there's rumors that D-Thang was killed by some people who love King Von. So why would all this happen? Exactly. You don't have an answer. You on the payroll. You on the OTF payroll. That's what you are. He's on the payroll, man. We see you out there in your little hood and everything like that with some people that's cool with Lil Durk. And we seen how you've been talking trash about Quando Rondo. The fact of the matter is, you're an agent and you're working for him. We all know this man, right? We ain't never heard of no prosecutory discretion. I don't even know if I'm saying it, prosecutory whatever. Nah. When you look at the facts is this, man. How is it you get charged basically in shooting 5 felonies, 5, and you was in the car? Shouldn't you be an accessory to the crime? You're a felon. Everybody in there's a felon. You get a felony. You get a felony. You get a felony. Why were you never charged with anything? It's cameras all around. It doesn't matter that the cameras didn't possibly see you shooting. You were still there. See, by law, you were supposed to let them know that your friend had committed a crime, because as a felon, 2 felons in possession of a weapon, somebody got to take that charge. It makes too much sense. And then let's be honest, everybody in the hood would tell their homies, man, listen, if we do a crime and we get caught and I'll die, blame me. That's how it's supposed to be, right? You a street dude, so you say. You already been exposed anyways. People that put all type of exposed videos. You don't never see them in their hoods with nobody, but they exposed your ass. So no, I'm gonna expose you even further. You on the take. Who sent you? Who sent your ass? You Illuminati anyways. You a DEA operative. That's what the homie King Rob said. He said you a DEA operative. So right now you are doing what the DEA told you to do.
Order in the court.
Durk is definitely guilty. Because ain't no way in the hell you duck and dodge for 3 years. And then they just drop it.
I want to remind you that in closing arguments, the lawyers will refer to the testimony and the other evidence that you will have heard, but what the lawyers say in their closing arguments is not itself evidence. Their statements are only their recollection of what the evidence in the case was. It is your collective recollection as 7 jurors of what the evidence in the case was, which shall govern your deliberations. In addition, your notes should be used only as an aid to your memory. You should not give your notes precedence over your independent recollection of the evidence. You should rely on your independent recollection of what the evidence in the case was, and you should not be unduly influenced by the notes of other jurors. You have been chosen and sworn as jurors in this case to try the issues of facts presented. You must consider and decide this case fairly and impartially. You are to perform this duty without bias or prejudice as to any party. All persons stand equal before the law and are entitled to the same treatment under the law. Our system of law does not permit jurors to be governed by sympathy, prejudice, or public opinion. Both of the parties and the public expect that you will carefully and impartially consider all the evidence in the case, follow the law as stated by the court, and reach a just verdict regardless of the consequences. You are the judges of the facts, the credibility of the witnesses, and the weight of the evidence. You may consider the appearance and manner of the witnesses on the stand, their intelligence, their opportunity for knowing the truth and for having observed the things about which they testified, their interest in the outcome of the case, their bias, and if any have been shown, their prior inconsistent statements, or whether they have knowingly testified untruthfully as to any material fact in the case. You may not arbitrarily disregard believable testimony of a witness. However, after you have considered all the evidence in the case, then you may accept or discard all or part of the testimony of a witness as you think proper. You are entitled to use your common sense in judging any testimony. From these things and all the other circumstances of the case, you may determine which witnesses are more believable and weigh their testimony accordingly. You must not base your verdict in any way upon sympathy, bias, guesswork, or speculation. Your verdict must be based solely upon the evidence and instructions of the court. Your verdict must be based on the facts as you find them and on the law contained in all of these instructions.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the YouTube jury, I've laid out concrete evidence and proof that Lil Durk is innocent. Bezu no longer has charges. Those were dropped. Now, I get opposing counsel said that Bezu could have ratted and they could have concocted this and everything. And he showed the pictures of the lawyer and said that she was the Clayton County Sheriff, which doesn't make sense, but whatever. So I want to understand this part right here. What do you want to believe? Do you want to believe Lil Durk is a snitch? Or not? They say you had to have the burden of proof, of evidence. You have to prove it. And he has not proven it. Nobody has proven it. Nobody has anything except for charges being dropped, not dismissed, because you have to go to court and then fight, and have it dismissed. So the fact of the matter is this. You guys have to find Lil Durk not guilty. Not guilty of all charges. He's innocent. You guys know it. I know it. Let's stop the hate and let's go out here and enjoy our days. Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, opposing counsel laid out a bullshit ass goddamn excuse with no facts. The fact of the matter is, use your common sense. How the hell did he do this? It's too many coincidences. 2 of the people died. 2 of the people that more resemble Durk than they do Bezu. If Bezu would have looked like Lil Durk, Bezu possibly would be dead too. He sacrificed them. They all in on it, man. And unfortunately, King Von was the only rapper that was a real street nigga out of everybody. They set him up to be killed. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. King Von never had a chance. He was too loyal to these people and they flipped on him. They ratted on him. Just ask yourself this simple question. How is it that he beat those charges when nobody, no rapper, they keep on saying prosecutory defense, but no rapper you know has ever had that used for them? And since this never happened, we know the truth. And the truth has set us free. Durk is a snitch. You must convict this man. It is your job and your duty to convict this man. I rest my case.
You hear my folks is ballin'. You know me, I'm all in. Don't pull up in no foreigns. I notice those who callin'. Don't do this very often. Please losers get exhausted. I'm fresh to death from coffins. Unique is what I walk in. Me and my people. Expensive nights, yeah, no hype. Yeah, I live this kind of life. Different sights, different price. I go from car to motorbike. I'm hard to kill and hard to fight. Never right, I'm overbite. They love you when your clothing tight. Overdose, they so contrite. Never bought in when they
Y'all expect me to keep it real? Because you know that I will. I do this daily, baby. Check out the Nightly Nash podcast. Also, Street the Music, Ceddy Nash, if you have not. It's on all streaming platforms. Guaranteed you're going to find something you like. Probably like that Overly Thuggin' freestyle. Or maybe something different. Let me know in the comments. We possibly shoot that music video.